And then Draupadi is a celestial beauty. She's extremely beautiful. So people who have come for the Swayamvara, they are very, very excited, and they by hook or crook they want to get married to her, either by winning the competition or by some other means. What are some other means?
Like how strong they are.
Waging a war or something like that. Huh?
Cheating.
Not cheating. They don't want to cheat and win. But like, you remember how Bhishma waged a war for Amba, Ambika, Ambalika? You remember that story? So by that kind of means. He has a question.
Another way is like flexing that they're good or something like that.
No, you cannot just say I am good at something, so
No,
I'll
like
get married.
proving.
But they have to win the competition. Now I'm going to tell more about what the competition exactly is. What is
proving.
the test that they have put together? Like for Sita Swayamvara, the test was to not break, to string Shivadhanasu. But Rama inadvertently broke it. But the competition is not to break itself, right? To just string it. But now there is a hymna comes onto the dais, so everybody is looking at each other. Everybody is boosting their own courage, thinking that, oh, I can do everything. I know. Before the test, before you enter into the exam, you tell yourself that, oh, I have studied so well for this exam, so I'm going to do well. So with that positive attitude, you go into the examination, right? Similarly, all the kings are approaching it with the same quality, same nature. Okay, I can do this. Do you have anything, Akshay? Okay. So now Drishtadyumna comes upon to the stage. He introduces his sister, Draupadi, and says what the competition, and tells everybody what the competition is going to be about. So there is a instrument, and that instrument's name is Matsya Yantra. Matsya means fish. So there is something on the roof, and that has a fish stuck to it, and it is rotating. It is moving like this. And there is a pond of water on the floor. So the competition is anybody who's entering into the competition. One second, let me finish this. Anybody entering into the competition should take the what do you call the bow and the arrow. They have to string it and then look into the water, aim at the fish that is rotating, and they need to hit the fish.
So they need to look at the thing, but then aim up.
Yes, because they can see that reflection of fish in the water, right? So look at the fish that is the image of the fish in the water. You need to be looking down, and you need to fire an arrow up and hit that particular fish. Yes. Akshay.
Doesn't Arjuna like win and hit the fish's eye?
Let us wait. So the next, what happens? He also says that it is not just your archery skills that are put to test. It is your character. It is your power of controlling your senses. Person who has mastered all these things will only be able to aim this. Only skills in archery alone will not give you the victory. That's what Drishtadyumna says. Looking at the complexity of the situation, lot of people gracefully say that, oh no, you know what? We just came to watch it. We have no intentions of participating. So leave us alone. We are just silent spectators. She is like our sister. I'm not aiming for Draupadi. So forget it. So some of the kings, they just gracefully because they know for the fact that it's not their cup of tea.
So instead of getting humiliated at the end,
Yes, exactly. To save their face, to save themselves from humiliation, that is what they do. Then, who tries? The first person to try. Yes.
Like the first person that tries Arjuna.
No. Arjuna is the last person to try.
What?
Yes.
Karna?
Yeah. Karna tries. Karna wants to try. Karna raises up from his seat. I think before that a couple of other people try, but Karna's is a very significant one. So Karna tries. Karna raises from his seat, and immediately Draupadi says, Duryodhana then tries. Later he tries. Sekuni also tries. Selya tries. Lot of people try. Yeah. Who? No, they know basic archery. They know, everybody knows, even fighting with mace, Arjuna knows, but he's not a master of it. So everybody knows the basic archery. Yeah. So Karna raises up. He is very radiant. He looks very beautiful and amazing to look at because he is son of sun. Right? So he raises up and then immediately Draupadi says, what? Yeah.
So is the moving fish like fast moving, like rapidly fast?
It is rotating. Fast moving, slow moving, that I do not know. Sorry. Yes. I think it is like a pendulum circulating. It is rotating, is what I heard, what I have seen in a lot of films. But Vyasa Bharata surprisingly doesn't describe it. It only says Matsya Yantra. It doesn't describe what kind of this thing it is. Either it is like a pendulum oscillating or rotating, one of those. But they have to target the eye of the fish. It's not the fish itself. They have to target the eye of the fish. So it doesn't matter whether it is rotating
not gonna
or
win.
oscillating like pendulum, right? Eye is constantly moving. It is going like this or it is going like this. Doesn't matter. So they have to target it's a moving target basically. And they are not even supposed to look at the target. Look in the water, look at the image of the target and then hit the target. Okay, reflection of the target, not even image. Reflection of the target. Now, okay, the most important thing, you need to remember this because in later parts of the story, you will understand why some events happened the way they happened because of this one statement uttered by Draupadi. Draupadi says, Sutam Navaryami, means, Sutam means, he's a Suta, right? Karna belongs to the section of the society that is called Suta society. Suta means someone who is born to a Kshatriya father and a Brahmin mother. And his mother Radha is a Brahmin and his father Atirada is a Kshatriya. So that is why this guy is called as Suta. That's a very normal thing back then. Yeah. So then she says, Navaryami means I don't want to get married to someone from Suta's clan. She says that. Yes.
Why though?
That's her personal choice. You can't have a personal choice. I don't want to get married to a doctor. Am I becoming a bad person because of that? No, that's my choice. I have a lot of problems because, this guy is always busy. He's not spending time with my family. He doesn't have time for me at all. So I don't want. So it is very similar situation. It's not any kind of disrespect towards anybody. She's not personally targeting anybody. But it is, but Karna takes it in a very humiliating way. He immediately, he smiles in the sense he laughs in a very, it's a different, it's not out of happiness. It is out of awkwardness, embarrassment, all those things. Not fake embarrassment or awkwardness. Give it to him. Give properly, right?
Like a sarcastic laugh?
No, not sarcastic. He's embarrassed. He's because in front of thousands and thousands of people, this lady said that I don't want this person to even participate in this test, right? So he felt humiliated. He did not. He felt very less in front of the entire crowd. He's a king. He's a king of Angadesa, and he is being called like, no, you are not. You're not fit to marry a princess like me. So it is very humiliating. He was looked down upon. Correct. Any other questions? So, a lot of times this is interpreted in such a way that Draupadi was looking down upon Karna because of the caste. But caste was not even a word back then. The word caste or kulam is coined in the recent times. It is so recent that it came into existence during the British rule in India. Prior to British rule, there is nothing called caste. It is Varna. They used to call it Varna. And each Varna had a dedicated roles and responsibilities, and they used to perform their duties based upon the Varna that they belong to. There is an opportunity for everyone to change Varna. If I am, say for example, Vishwamitra is a Kshatriya. He was a king. His name was Kashyapa, right? He was a king. Then he does a lot of penance, lot of practice, lot of things, and he became a saint, and he has the title of Brahmarshi. He became a Maharshi. He has became the best, the epitome of Maharshi status is called Brahmarshi. He became Rajarshi and then he became Brahmarshi. So he is a Brahmin. He is considered, Vishwamitra is always considered a Brahmin. He was never considered as a Kshatriya after he became the saint. So there is no stringent Varna system also. People could move from one Varna to the other Varna very easily. But everywhere, whenever you look, you watch any movies or you read through, in future, if you happen to read to any of the versions of Mahabharata, lot of versions, they state, they put it in such a way that Draupadi looked down upon Karna because of his birth into a certain section of the community. Whereas that is not the case. That is, marriage is a very personal thing. Every girl is entitled to have a choice of her own, right? We all agree to that part, right? So she exercised her rights. That's all she did. She did not want to humiliate anybody. And she did not even let him participate in the this thing, right? In the contest. If he participated in the contest, he won. And then if she rejected, it would have been a different story. But she didn't even let him participate. Yes, Atharva?
And the woman in that end did not have free will.
No. That is not true. If she was in agreement with her father's opinion, that girl did not say anything. So he let her father take most of the decisions. But if she was not in agreement with any of her father's decisions or brother's decisions or anybody's decisions, she was allowed to freely express her opinions, her feelings, and her
I thought back in the day in certain civilizations that women did not have a choice of marriage.
that is not during the era of Mahabharata or Ramayana. That this kind of restrictions came very later in the game. All these things have been happening, if I am not wrong, from the last 300 years or 400 years, not more than that. Okay, this is a very recent shift in the mentality of the society. But in the times of Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, women had equal amount of say as men. And even when it comes to education, there are a lot of people, lot of women who got educated. Like, say for example, Agastya's wife is Lopamudra. She is a very well educated woman. There is another person called Gargi. She is also educated woman. They used to have debates along with other saints who were men. They were never asked to, oh, you are a female, so don't even, we're not even going to talk to you. So they used to have all sorts of debates about philosophy, about science, about a lot of things, whatever they wanted to. And all these women freely expressed their opinions or their thoughts around it. Nobody said a thing against that. And looking down upon women or not considering their opinion, it's a very recent thing that's been happening. It is not just in India. It's not just in Indian communities. It is across the world. That kind of shift has happened across the world. More in certain countries than the other, more in certain sections than the others. But that divide is always there. That is why you have so many forums like to bring women back into the different areas, like women into technology, women into science, women into politics, women into business, women and entrepreneurs. So you have to give a lot of push to the women, the gender right now, because there is a difference. There is a huge gap. So we are trying to bridge that gap. But at that point of time when Mahabharata, Ramayana were happening, there was no such a thing. Okay. Then coming back to our story. So Karna is rejected by Draupadi, and Karna has this in his head for the rest of the years. He is always what do you call? Jealous. He has that bitterness in his mind towards Draupadi for the rest of his life. And then Duryodhana comes. Duryodhana flexes his muscles. He comes and he gives a roar kind of a laugh, and then he tries to lift the bow. He tries to string it, and it's his bending, right? It is like this, and he is bending it like this. He tries to attach the string, and suddenly it goes like this. He can for the pressure it moves like this, and this guy falls like few meters away. and then he feels extremely humiliated, and then he goes back and sits. Sekuni tries. He had a similar experience. And Selya is a maternal uncle of Nakula and Sahadeva. That is Madri's brother. You know their mother is Madri, right? Madri's brother is Selya. So Selya also tries. He's not interested in getting married to Draupadi because he's an elderly person, but he's very excited to participate and show the people that, show his talent and everything. He tries, but he also fails. Everybody fails at a different stage. Some people can string it, but they cannot aim it. Some people cannot even string it. Some people cannot even lift it. So they fail at different stages during the competition. And everybody comes to understand that, okay, this is not easy. This is not as easy as it looks to be. And they start talking within themselves that does Drupada Maharaja even have any intentions of getting his daughter married? If he has those intentions, why is he even coming up with this kind of a competition? Like it is not doable by any kings. So all of the kings tried. Nobody was able to do it. Then what's the purpose of it? Yes.
Does anyone like hit the fish but not the eye?
No. Nobody was able to hit the fish also. Then this boy from the Brahmin community, he raises up and he starts progressing towards the stage. And there is a pin drop silence first. Everybody is taken aback that why is this guy even coming? Doesn't he know that this is Kshatriya Swayamvara, and why is he rising from his seat? And some people think that this guy is good for nothing and he is only doing this to put Brahmins down. So now people will laugh at us. Why should he even attempt anything like that? This is absolutely not doable by any of the Brahmins. There is no way. They think like that. And people have mixed opinions about Arjuna attempting this. And then Arjuna enters the stage. Draupadi doesn't object. So it means Draupadi is fine. Draupadi is fine to get married to a Brahmin. Okay, then he goes, he aims at it within a blink of an eye, he hits the target, and there is again there's a shock wave across the podium, across the stadium, and then after that there is a huge loud uproar and applause given to Arjuna. The entire Brahmin community is they are on the top of on the cloud nine. They are celebrating. Oh, one among us did this. We are so proud. Something that none of the Kshatriyas was able to do. Our guy has done it. So they were very happy, and they start inquiring about who are these people, who's this guy, where are they from? All of those things they start talking about, and then Krishna knows who this boy is, and Balarama knows. Drupada Maharaja and Drishtadyumna they don't know what to do now, because they wanted Arjuna to win this. This entire thing was set up keeping Arjuna in mind. They knew the capabilities of Arjuna. They knew for the fact that no other warrior living at that point of time was capable of doing this. Right? So they don't know what to do. So this guy won. Draupadi did not say anything. So does it mean that she is going to become a wife of this guy? Look how he's dressed. He's a Brahmin. Why would I give away my daughter to this man? But I'm stuck in my own words. So I have no clue what is going on now. Should I really get this girl married? Or should I intervene? Should I say something? If I said something, it would go against me, because you are the ones who, everybody will be against him, right? All the Brahmins would come and say, you are the one who put this test and this guy won the test. Then why are you saying no now? Right? You had a question?
No, so because there's so many questions, does he reveal now that he's
No, he doesn't reveal now. It's not an appropriate time to reveal.
appropriate?
It's not appropriate to reveal now, so he doesn't reveal now. So